Hi, everyone. Today I am going to walk you through the intro 5 assignments so that you know what is due and what the purpose of these assignments and exercises is about. So, going to jump into the Canvas shell, and you can see the intro 5 exercises here under the assignments tab. Now, the very first thing kind of doesn't count. It's sign the program standards. You should have already done that. And what's left once signed program standards is checked off will be the following 5 items. So the very first thing is called Get Down to Business. Get Down to Business is a really fun PDF questionnaire. Let me open it up for you to see, you can take a look. This was created by Stefan Bucher a number of years ago, and it is a fantastic document that asks you to kind of think about your future. What makes you happy now? What you think you need in the future? Gives you a lot of critical thinking options to start to really help you position yourself now and where you want to be. Yeah, so the document actually premiered in 2006, but the questions are still fantastic and wonderful. So you'll see that there's lots of opportunities. You can print this out and handwrite it, or you can digitally work on top of it, whatever's most comfortable for you. I'm grading this not based on what I think of your answers, but on how complete your document is. So giving yourself the opportunity to really move through it in a great way will help you sort out some of your thoughts. So this document can be found in the Get Down to Business tab. Essentially, you'll see that all of these have a deadline of February 3rd at 2 p.m. So you can be working on these in any order that you choose. Um, Whatever strikes your fancy. There might be a day where you cannot possibly deal with listing out your future. That seems really um, anxiety inducing, and you just want to do some nuts and bolts stuff. Maybe that's the time when you work on your production schedule. Maybe you're like, oh, I can't even think about and deal with the list of things I have to do. I'd rather dream. That's the best time to do the Get Down to Business. So this allows you to work at your own pace. If you want to get a jump start on everything, get them done in 2 days, do them right now, submit them. Great, you're done. So the production schedule you really can't do until you've had your portfolio review with me. But once your review has been completed, you'll know what work you have to do. So you're creating that schedule to outline your time to remake and rework and create projects. And some of you will be creating new projects. And your schedule should be really well organized, outline what you're intending to work on and when, and then how long you think it's going to take you. And we all make these kind of lists and calendars and they evolve and change as things happen. That doesn't mean you shouldn't still make it in good faith and try to stick to it. Just keep in mind it might be a document where things adapt and change. Um, I highly, I instructed you to put your thesis timeline alongside of that because your thesis is another major thing that you're working on. So I highly recommend that you kind of front load things a little bit to get your thesis work completed, but don't leave your portfolio until the very end because you won't have enough time. So that is the production schedule. Then we have another alphabet soup name, AWHB, which stands for at, with, how, because. And I'm going to scroll down and kind of tell you what you need to do, and then I'll work back up. So there's a lot of reading and context here. The assignment essentially is that you're creating bulleted lists and summaries for 5 firms that seem like good opportunities for you to work at. They can still be dreams, but you shouldn't be picking 5 companies that are not good fits. And if they're companies that are local to where you're hoping to settle, wonderful. It's good research opportunity. Or if you can't find something in a place you're trying to find work, let's say you're trying to go to Cleveland and there's this amazing firm out in California that you love, by doing the at, with, how, because for that place out in California, it might help you find a place in Cleveland. So um, you're writing the description of the company at, who works there that you admire, with, how you intend on getting their payroll, how, why you chose them, the because, and what they produce. So there's a couple items with asterisks and you need to answer those. Those should all be available information from their website. Some of the additional things that are great to know would include awards won, how many employees, whether they offer benefits, but that kind of stuff can't always be found by the website. Maybe you'll find it in a job posting. Maybe you have to dig around a little bit. You can even call the firms. Don't be obnoxious, of course. And if you need an idea, here's a list. It's long. It's been curated by multiple people over the years. And there's tons and tons of places that aren't represented here, but here are some of the big dogs. And later on in the semester, I'll walk you through a couple of my favorites. But I would suggest that, you look here and you look at other places, and you can also look at places that have current job openings. Where should you be looking for job openings? AIGA members have access to the AIGA database. There's a lot of other places out there. Just start making that part of your regular internet surfing, looking for design jobs, and you'll be surprised at what you start to find. So anyway, at with how because. The last two kind of go into a pair. It's your resume draft and your cover letter draft. Your resume draft is can be exactly your exact resume right now with any changes you need to make in order to be ready for graduation. So I'm not asking you to redesign anything. We can proofread exactly what you have, or you can strip down all your formatting and use it just as kind of a Word document. But the idea is that and then we're going to do peer reviews on these. We are all able to review for content and make sure that what you're saying is correct. Nothing should be on there from high school any longer. You're graduating college, high school goes. Nobody has graduated yet, but you can phrase it so that graduation happens in May 2021, so that you don't have to redo your resume and say pre-planning to graduate. Sometimes that gets a little weird. So you will redesign these once your identity system has been established. So there's no need to worry about layouts or anything like that. Additionally, there's a whole bunch of tips and tricks and things on this document that you need to read. I will say that the objective statement is not necessary, and we don't recommend it because your objective is to get a job and your objective is to work at a firm like blah, blah, blah. And so everybody knows that, ditch it. A well-written cover letter is going to take the place of an objective statement. That's an artifact from days gone by. It's common to use name, current address, telephone number, and email address. Contemporary practice says you can ditch the physical address unless you're trying to verify with them that you live out in California. Address, place is old-fashioned. You don't need it. Ditch it. You would be best served to use an email address that is not your BGSU email address. You should have the capacity with your URL and your domain name to use an email related to that. Definitely don't use something cutesy like pinkpony24@aol.com because there's nothing professional about that and we will not take you seriously as a candidate. So scrolling through, read all of this documentation. You're uploading a peer review file. And in class, we are going to peer review on Monday, February 8th. So these are all due by 2 p.m. on February the 3rd. You can be working on them that day. The way I've set it up is Canvas is going to be randomly assigning you 4 people to peer review for, and you won't get that pairing until that Monday. This is the same process we're going to use for the cover letter. I'm just giving you a separate place to submit it. And draft a cover letter for an existing job opportunity, or if there isn't a job opportunity that you have found that you would want to go after, create an imaginary one from one of the locations you chose in your curated list for the at with how because. Again, no need to redesign it at this time. You'll design it after your visual identity system and branding have been created. So it can be just a draft letter. When we get to the peer review part on February 8th, you're going to use this file. It is going to give you a whole bunch of things to check for and help as you're proofreading your peers' letters and resumes. And then again, some more context. Some of this might seem a little bit redundant with what's posted on the resume, but there's a lot of really important stuff about cover letters. And the most specific thing, a cover letter can be an email or a formal letter on paper. Most likely this day and age, it'll be an email. I'm using the term universally. What is appropriate needs to sound authentic for you. There's writing in this email that if you have a quirky way of speaking, no one's going to believe is you. Your authentic voice just with professional polish is what you need to have. And you can make sure you're writing in that tone, and we'll kind of look at that together as we're doing the peer reviews. So to recap, all 5 of these assignments are due at the end of class, essentially 2 p.m. on February 3rd. You can submit them in any order. You can submit them anytime. You could do them all tomorrow and have your plate clean until February 3rd and have the only thing you need to work on be your portfolio and the senior show group work. So with that, since I mentioned the senior show, I will just cover that. Just a little bit. I mentioned this kind of in the original class. I'm going to go more in depth in a separate video with some examples and things that you'll get later in the week. But just to remind you, the senior show pitches are coming up. So this week during class, if you don't have your portfolio review, do a small group meet, start figuring this stuff out. You can meet up anytime, but all of you are free during our class period. Even if someone has to step out for 20 minutes to do their portfolio review, you have multiple classes. This is not due until January 27th. So you have class on January 13th, and you have class on January 25th, where you have time where you can work together as a group. This time will go quickly. Do not waste it. And you need to put together a senior pitch that's a 5 to 10 slide deck that includes the show name, branding concepts, photography headshot, title storyboard mockups, and social media example. So that'll go fast. Someone in each of the groups needs to step up and start coordinating. And I am leaving that in your capable hands. So with that being said, you are set for this week. On Monday, we had our initial class meeting. I did portfolio reviews with these folks. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I will be doing portfolio reviews with all of these folks. Remember, looking ahead to next week, on Monday, there's no class because it's Dr. Martin Luther King Day. Wednesday, we are virtually attending this fantastic virtual event called What an Honor. You need to register for that. The registration link is right here. Go ahead and do that. It's free. It's just they need to be able to have your email address to send you the Zoom link. Then looking ahead one more week to week 3, you're gathering all of your work for your review if you haven't had it yet. So that's the last of the folks. Or you're working on your portfolio and you're working on your intro 5 exercises and your senior show pitch. So lots of different things you can be working on, a very organic process. And finally, on week 4, that's February 1st through 3rd. That's going to be a little bit more organic. You're working on your portfolio, working on your exercises. I'm going to be lecturing a little bit on Monday and doing some different things with you. But on Wednesday, that is when all of those intro 5 exercises are due by 2 p.m. Then last week that I'm going to give you a preview of is week 5. This is kind of a peer review week. So on Monday, we'll be doing the in-class peer review. So everyone will have 4 cover letters and 4 resumes to peer review, and then we'll be live. So I'll be available for you to ask me questions as we're working, and you can ask your classmates questions if you have a question about something. Other than that, your self-ID papers are due on Wednesday, 2010. So even though your self-ID is not one of those intro 5 exercises, it's still part of the onboarding of the semester where you're helping differentiate yourself from other designers. You're starting to understand yourself. So that's what all of this work is kind of leading up to. We're parceling out in manageable pieces the sort of research you need to do to sort of unpack who you are as a young designer. So the self-ID paper assignment is to write a short paper, 1,000 to 1,500 words about who you are as a person. So you're going to go ahead and read this, and please know, be prepared to read your paper out loud to your peers. You are being asked to be incredibly honest, and this is sort of one of those assignments that makes people feel very vulnerable. So again, you're reading it to your peers. If you want to put in a piece of information that's important to you that you don't want to read out loud to everyone, you don't have to. But know in advance you are going to be reading these and sharing them. So you can choose to edit out something sensitive if you want, but this is writing that is helping you sort out who you are as a person and what gives you goosebumps about design. So Um, that is due on February 10th, and we will be reading them out loud on February 10th, and it might spill over into the following class, which would be February 15th. So that's going to take us between today and a month from now. That's plenty to do. I look forward to seeing you in class this week. My primary goal during the next class sessions is to meet with the people who I'm doing portfolio reviews with. So if there's something that you need, you can pop into the Zoom really quickly and ask your question, or you can drop me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, we can schedule an appointment for office hours. Okay. I don't think there's anything else to add right here. So I'm going to stop sharing and say, have a wonderful week, everyone. And good luck. Give yourself time. I know it seems like there's a lot of time to do things. Front load, front load, front load. You don't know if you're going to get sick. You don't know if something weird's going to happen to your computer. You don't know if you're going to have an amazing idea for your thesis that you need to crank on for a few days. So do as much as you can, as early as you can, to give yourself the best position to respond to anything that might come up. It's 2021.